Today we're going to talk about how the Kase Magnetic filter kit has been working out in the field. So several weeks ago I bought a Kase Wolverine Magnetic filter kit, and I did an unboxing video about it, talked a little bit about what was in the kit, and went over some of the reasons why I purchased it. But I hadn't really had a lot of time to use them out in the field. I'd only used them maybe once or twice when I recorded that video. But now I've been using them on several other trips, and now I'm several days into a trip to West Virginia. I've been using the Kase Magnetic filters, and I thought it was time to let's do an in-the-field report on those Kase Magnetic filters, see what I think of them, see how they've been working out, and that's what we're going to do today. So we came out, well, I was out to West Virginia, and I am down in the Douglas Falls area, outside of Thomas, West Virginia, and there's a couple of waterfalls here, not super bright, probably won't get a lot of ND filter usage today, but I have been using them on other parts of the trip. We'll talk again what's in the kit, a little bit about what's been working well with them, and a couple things to watch out for. So just to review, if you haven't seen my unboxing video, the Kase Wolverine Magnetic filter kit comes with this case for your filters. Nice little leather case. It's got a little clip on the back right here in case you want to clip it to something in your bag, or if you haven't had something to hang it from your tripod with, you can hang it from your tripod, something like that, so your filters are nice and close. So a nice sturdy case. Of course, it's got a little magnetic clip on it to keep it closed. Inside, it's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pouches right there like that. And I went with the 82mm filter kit. My biggest filter size on any of the lenses I currently have is a 14 to 30. I didn't anticipate moving up beyond that, so I bought the 82mm filter kit, which fits my biggest one, and then I bought step-up rings for each of my other lenses, so I could step up from, like, say, a 67mm filter thread to the 82. It works out really well. It makes it so I can sort of keep the step-up rings on the lenses and easily put my filters as I swap lenses while I'm out photographing and everything like that. This kit comes with a CPL filter right there. Now, the cool thing about this CPL filter is because it doesn't thread on, it actually rotates inside the magnetic mount. So that makes it really thin. It fits in. So when you're trying to adjust your polarizing filter with this, since it just magnetics in, you just rotate it inside that magnetic mount to get the correct amount of polarizing effect. Surprised me at first, but it worked out really well. And then, of course, this kit comes with 3 ND filters. It comes with an 8-stop ND filter, which is equivalent to 3 stops of light. So it's an ND8 equals 3 stops of light. Again, 82mm. I've got an ND16 filter, which is equivalent to a 6-stop ND filter. This is the one I probably tend to use the most. 6-stop, if I only have one ND filter, or if I was only going to buy one, it would be a 6-stop. I find it's a nice combination for when I want an ND filter. I do want it a little bit stronger without going all the way to, say, like a 10-stop. So got this filter, ND16. And finally, we got an ND1000 filter, which is equivalent to a 10-stop filter. All of these come in the kit. It comes with one magnetic lens cap, which is really cool because the lens cap just magnetizes to the front. Here, let me show you. So here we are with the Nikon 14 to 30 lens, and I've got the magnetic lens cap on it. See, it just fits right on there, snaps right on, just like that. Now, it does take an adapter to put onto this lens, so this has a Kase magnetic thing, which I've got screwed on so tight. There. So the way the Kase magnetic system works is it has this ring which goes on. This is an 82mm because I bought an 82mm kit. This is the filter size I bought it for. So this just fits on and gives the magnetic surface for things to magnetize to. So you can put your CPL filter and it just, boop, hop on there. Let's show you that. So I grabbed the CPL filter, got the lens here, take this and just, boom, right there like that. And like I was saying, it's not threaded, but it fits in there so you can turn it just like that to adjust your polarizing filter. So to get that polarizing, you're setting up here like this. You can rotate this to get the right polarizing effect. I usually watch for that in the live view, see how it looks. The other cool thing is, so I tend to keep the circular polarizer on the lens a lot. So if I want to stick it in my bag and protect my filters and everything without putting them back in the pouch, magnetic lens cap just fits right back on there. So super handy. And like I said, I did buy step-up rings and lens caps, which were additional. They just did not come with the kit. But I had to buy a step-up ring for my other lenses, and I bought magnetic lens caps for my other lenses so that I could just be all magnetic all the way through to make switching things out in the field pretty quick. So like I said, we're at Douglas Falls here in West Virginia today. We're trying to catch the fall colors. Missed peak just a little bit, but it's still amazing out. Actually expecting snow later today, so we have high hopes that maybe we can get some snowy waterfall shots tonight, maybe tomorrow morning before we take off. So looking forward to that. We'll see how it goes. But anyways, what we're going to do is we're going to hop up here closer to the falls, and we're going to break out the camera, get a lens out, and probably only be using the CPL, but we'll just sort of go through using it in action to photograph this waterfall. I do tend to use CPLs on waterfalls a lot. It helps take that glare off the water and the rocks next to it. It's pretty overcast today because that snow is getting set to move in, so probably won't need an ND filter. I'm going to be able to get the blur, the motion, the long exposure effect I want without an ND filter, but we'll talk about what it would look like to just stack an ND on there. The picture today really won't require it, but we'll just talk about it just so you can see it. We'll go over that, and then we'll pop back in, and we'll just talk about what my thoughts have been. Like I said, I've been using them now for 5-6 weeks, something like that. Lots of different photo outings, using them this whole trip in West Virginia in various forms, including the ND filter and the CPL. So we'll stop back in, and we'll just talk a little bit about the quality. Do I think these Kase Wolverine magnetic filters have a high image quality to them? And 2 things to watch out for. So we popped up here, we're at Douglas Falls. I'm sort of at the composition I want. I decided to go with a 24-70 lens on this. I started at the wide 14-30, but I was ending up zooming into like 24, 28 anyways. So I decided just to pop the 24-70 on. So with these Kase magnetic filters, it's really easy. You just pop off the magnetic filter, just pop that right off, pose my shot up, and my camera settings set the way I want, getting down around ISO 100. Out to about 24 millimeters right now. No filter on just yet. I'm just composing my shot, figuring out what I want. Zoom in a little more. Okay, so I got my shot composed. I'm going to toss the CPL on just to handle glare from the water and everything like that. So like I said, this case has a cool little clip, so I've got it clipped to a utility strap on my pants. Just pop it off there, open up the top, grab my CPL filter, and it just snaps right on there like that. That's it. Super easy. Like I said, a CPL will impact your amount of light getting into your camera, so this one's probably going to affect it by about a stop. Trying to control the histogram between the highlights. Now, to adjust the filter, like I said, you just rotate it on that magnetic mount, find out where you want it. And you really sort of season the taste. I rotate, get the glare out of the water in front of me. So the water in front of me went from strong glare to no glare. The falls are looking good. Got my histogram set pretty much the way I want. I'm going to take my test shot. Nice, so my test shot, what I'm looking for is looking for the blur of the water, see if I like it or not. As far as the CPL filter, it's super easy. It just snaps right on, just magnetizes right on the front, rotate it in to get the polarization effect I want, and then just go from there. Now this particular scene, I don't need an ND filter. I'm gonna be able to get the long exposure effect I want just between aperture and ISO and get it down to where I want. It's pretty overcast today, so it's not like that. But let me just show you real quick how easy it is. So let's grab a 3-stop ND filter. Pull it out of the kit, toss it right on front there, boom. I've got my ND filter on there. If I shot this, didn't like the way I looked, and wanted to change it, and say I wanted the 6-stop, just pop that right off, slip that back in the case, grab the 6-stop, boom. Super fast, no turning, wiggling, pretty easy to grab, not a lot of chance of falling off if you're careful. You know, when you're unscrewing them, it's always going to unscrew completely at the wrong moment and go rolling off into the river. So super easy to maneuver. You don't have threads getting stuck or anything like that. I'm going to get some shots here and then go from there. So while I was shooting, I noticed that if I had a slightly longer exposure, I could get a nice little swirl down here in this bottom pool. And I'm already f16. I don't like to go much higher than that. If I can help it, get into issues of diffraction and stuff like that. If I go too high, and my ISO is 100, so I could have kicked that down down to ISO 64 and gotten a little bit more, but trying to max out my exposure at around 30 seconds. So really quickly, I just grabbed my 3-stop filter out of my pouch, just slapped it on there, made my exposure adjustments, get my histogram the way I want, got a 30-second exposure, took the image, and I like the way it looks. So that's an example of where if I was doing screw-on filters, I probably would have been like, well, maybe I'll just get close enough. But it was just so easy. Grab the filter, toss it on. That was one of the features I was looking for when I went with magnetic filters was I'm a lazy photographer. If I can make things easier in the field, then I should do it. And that made that super easy. I was like, hey, maybe an ND filter would look good here. Tossed on that 3-stop, slowed it down, got my 30-second shutter speed, got this nice little swirl going in the pool in front. Super easy and convenient. So this is wrapping up my in-the-field look at the Kase magnetic filters. Like I said, I've got them because I wanted something super convenient, something to be able to swap filters very easily. A lazy photographer at heart, so if I can make anything easier, that's a good thing. I got tired of threads getting stuck. You know, I carry a set of filter wrenches, but it's just annoying, get stuck, especially if your hands are cold in the winter, anything like that. It doesn't happen all the time, but it happens just often enough it's a little bit of annoying. So those are some of the big reasons I went to the Kase magnetic filters. I sort of covered what was in the kit, talked about it up by the falls, and there was even a great example up there is when I went up to the falls, I thought I just needed CPL to shoot this, that's it, got the CPL on. You know, I was starting to look at it, I'm like, you know, if I could slow my shutter speed just a little bit more, and it wasn't like, oh, I'm going to have to unscrew, you know, a filter, put another filter on, and reattach them. It was just, I literally grabbed my 3-stop ND filter out of my case, snapped it on the front, adjusted my shutter speed to get to the histogram I wanted, got to my 30-second exposure, and it was super easy. It took like 5 seconds to make that filter swap. As far as optical quality, obviously that's something important. You know, you're spending all this money on lenses. You want to make sure what you're putting in front of that lens is also high optical quality so you don't, you know, impact that high dollars you spent on the lens. So I've taken a look at several photos that I've taken with the filters from previous trips. You know, like I said, I've been using them extensively for the past 6 weeks or so. Lots of fall color shooting to work on other videos, things like that. So I've used them quite a bit, and I've had no problems with the optical quality. Everything looks good. I don't feel like I'm getting any kind of significant color cast of any sort that's needing a bunch of correction. Real happy with the image quality, no complaints there. I used MISC filters and breakthrough filters in the past. Both, you know, I consider high-end, good, professional quality filters with minimal color cast, and these Kase filters are right there with them. So no problems with image quality. So I mentioned I had 2 things to watch out for with these filters. Neither are deal breakers. I am not switching away from these. The convenience, the optical quality is great, no problems. But earlier on this trip, we were photographing at a waterfall. The sun was coming through the trees. Tossed on the polarizer, and so now I've got 2 panes of glass. I got the lens front element, I've got the filter, and that can lead to some unusual flaring. Some filters are better at it than others, some lenses are better at it than others, and it is something to watch out for regardless of filter brand. But I will tell you, I was getting a weird green flare in one part of my image. And if it was just me, I wouldn't have thought much about it. But I was out here with a buddy who also shoots Kase magnetic filters, the Wolverine filters, and he was getting it as well. In fact, he actually called my attention to it, called me over. He goes, hey, what's going on with this? What's that? You know, and I told him, you know, shield the lens from the sun there a little bit. You'll take that flare off, and it cleared it right up. Could have happened with any filter. But when I got back to my camera, after he called me over to take a look, I looked at mine, and what do you know? Up there in the corner, the same little green flare. I wish I'd taken the time to toss on one of my threaded filters just to see, was this Kase filter more susceptible to it? I didn't remember to do that while I was out there. Something to keep in mind, though, watch for that flare. It can happen anytime you stack a filter in front. It's susceptible to flaring. Like I said, in this case, it's an easy fix. Shield the lens a little bit with your hand. I did it with a hat, shielded it, made the flare go away, no problem. But keep an eye out for that. The other one, minor nitpick, the magnetic lens caps are awesome. And if they're just going onto this magnetic step-up ring or the magnetic ring, they're pretty secure. I've knocked them off of my pack a time or 2. I don't really bang my camera around when I'm hiking. It's usually in the bag, so it's nice, safe, and secure. So it does pretty good attach directly to. When you start stacking filters and then start putting the cap on, be careful when you're out. It'll wiggle a little bit. You know, you start getting further from that magnetic plate. The whole assembly gets a little wigglier, and it would be easier to knock that magnetic lens cap off. So just be careful of that. Not a deal breaker. I won't switch away from those magnetic lens caps. They're super easy to just pop on. Just something to watch out for. If you do lose a lens cap, it's a little more expensive. I misplaced one on this trip. Somewhere in my camera bag, I had to get back to the place we're staying, rip my whole camera bag apart. Not the fault of the filter, just me putting it in the wrong spot. But just, you know, keep an eye on that. And that's really it. Other than that, super happy with the Kase magnetic filters. Glad I made the upgrade. Makes things nice, smooth, efficient. Yeah, highly recommended. So hopefully you found this follow-up review helpful about the Kase magnetic filters. If you did, please be sure to hit that like button. And if you want to see future landscape photography content from me, including tips, tricks, mini gear reviews, behind the scenes, trip reports, be sure to hit that subscribe button so you don't miss anything from me in the future. And thank you for watching.